make sure it actually goes in. We're live.
Ooh.
Okay, let's go live in 3, 2, 1. Beep. Okay, cool. I think that's fine, right? I don't know. We're on. We are on. Friday.
Friday.
Podcast 2. Not a bad, has to be said. So first of all, thank you very much. Anyone who watched the previous video, that was quite fun actually. Yeah. So this time we're actually in full screen, so we have made progress. Absolutely. Yeah, and we're down for scenario 2. I've made sure that the only comments we can receive actually are from subscribers. So if you are watching and you are not subscribed, you should do that.
If you want to comment,
Well,
follow everything.
yeah, obviously, like privileges, you want to stalk us, then you need to, commit. So, so that would be nice.
Happy stalking.
And yes, happy stalking. So there is something very important that we need to do as well.
I'm very excited about this.
So today I was fortunate enough to go to a show at a location, and we will not disclose the location. But however,
Sounds quite dodgy.
it does sound, but I don't want
dodgy.
anyone to find me, you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. So basically, I went to the show, it was great, and I met this amazing woman who makes amazing things. So this is actually called Cookies and Curd, and it did have really cute, like a little bow on top actually, but we were just going to eat it, and then I thought I should probably mention it on here because Adam doesn't really know what's in this box,
Nope.
but I know he's going to like what's in the box. So
It's cakes. I'm going to like it.
do the honors and check out Cookies and Cream on Cookies and Curd. I'm so sorry. cookiesandcurd@gmail.com. Look at these.
I thought it was going to be a selection.
Look at these.
Call me spoiled.
Right? Maybe he doesn't get any cookies. Maybe you don't deserve any cookies.
Maybe just one cookie.
One? No, they're mine now.
One just for now.
They're mine now.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. So we've got stash for our channel,
They smell good.
which is always good.
They smell really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they taste really good as well. I already had some.
Oh,
It was really good.
oh, it's soft.
Mm.
I thought it was going to be like a biscuit.
No,
It's not.
you've been surprised a few times by this box. Right? Women can bake. Highly recommend it.
Really nice.
I think she does home deliveries as well. So, yeah.
Well, that would fit perfectly for a lot of it.
Exactly.
I'm not sure how well these would land.
Nah. Very well. Okay, so we're back to the Bible, which is 101 of the Lambus book by Martin, Theodore Martin. If you want to buy the book, I actually put a link to the book in the previous video of this series. I'm calling it a series now, like we're so professional, you know what I mean? But it's Martin Cohen. It's a very good book. And this one, I've decided to title, Are You a Psycho? Because it's kind of messed up, actually. So I'll give you the gist of it, because again, copyright, can't actually read the story, because, Martin. So, and we wouldn't want to do Martin disjustice, injustice, yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. Okay, so there was an experiment, right? You're in an experiment. I won't tell you the decade because I don't really think it matters. Like any decade, it's not a good time, okay? And you take ordinary groups of volunteer students, yeah? Just like some people come along, and you've got one group of they're all the same color, and they're all women, and all of this.
So the same demographic.
The same demographic, yeah, exactly the same demographic.
Okay.
And then you divide that group into two. And one half is basically the non-human group, right? And the other half, so basically with this group, they no longer have a name, a bit like the military or something, you get given a number instead, or so you're not really like a person really.
Dehumanized.
Yes, exactly. So you're
Okay.
just treated as a number. All your clothes, like any fashion choices, are a no. Like any form of self-expression is a no. Maybe they shave their heads off. I don't know. I mean, their hair off.
Okay.
You know, that kind of thing.
So you just said it sounds a bit like concentration.
It's very dark, but yes, it sounds a bit
You know,
like
they're not
Mhm.
they're just giving a number. They're just
people. Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm just
And
trying
then-
to visualize it.
And then, yeah, and basically even their faces are covered the whole time.
Oh,
So it's like quite extreme. Then the other side, so basically that group, they become like like they're not the humans in the experiment, right? And then the other group was also dehumanized, right?
Mhm.
But they got to wear like really authoritative clothes and got to be like, I'm the boss type people.
Mm.
And they became like, how to explain it? So essentially you've got the weak ones and the strong ones.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously they were told like, you're the weak ones, you're the strong ones, whatever it is.
What each group?
Yes.
So
Because one group was like non-human,
okay,
and then the other group is like you are human. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. But like,
I
yeah.
don't know why I came to that section.
What do you mean? What is something?
the non-humans were the weak ones.
Wow.
That's bad.
Yeah, they know.
Don't make any
She's a
assumptions.
psycho already. Okay.
I can't be the only one.
Well,
We'll do that.
the strong ones were basically given control over the weak ones. Okay. And obviously they abused that control. And they kind of like treated them really badly, like, mocked them, spit at them, took off their clothes, like whatever it was, like tripped them up, like school bullies and stuff. But then 6 days that this trial went on for, then they basically, it went on and it became so violent, and we'll get there, became so violent, it's a long one to try and like translate almost. It became so violent that basically authorities and stuff had to step in and say, no more, like no more of this, okay? And basically, the comment was that they became like the Nazis. So actually, it's quite funny that you said,
Okay.
you know what I mean, like ironic more. And basically, they're saying it's an easy mistake to make, but is the difference really so small? So is the group,
Yes.
are the groups, and is that really the difference between how people treat each other? Is it something so small? I mean, this is how I'm interpreting that evil, that you can take a group of volunteers and tell them that, like, you're the ultimate and these people are rubbish, and they will start to treat those people like rubbish, like animals, basically. Is it really, like, are we that close to being psychos? Because I would class that as a psycho, like to like make somebody clean a toilet or something with their hands, or it's a bit like we watched a Korean documentary. Do you remember? And there was like a proper ring,
Yes.
like a
I think
like dodgy ring of people, just so that anyone who doesn't know, it was Korea, wasn't it? And and these people basically would hack these girls' phones and threaten to disgrace them with their families and release a picture or two or whatever if they didn't, or kill their families even if they didn't actually take, take a picture of themselves cleaning the toilet with their mouth or something stupid, looking at toiletty. Horrible, horrible, degrading stuff. And the minute that they did that, they had to film themselves doing that. And then, of course, they would use that against them, and it would get more and more horrible until they tried to basically get the person to kill themselves. So, is it really, and that's a real thing.
my initial thought was it depends on the mentality of people going in.
What do you mean?
Like initially, like what is that person like anyway? And like if you pick a group of dangerous people and tell them they've got power, then So they're just going to kind of express themselves in that way because they've been told they're powerful.
But how do you vet those people? Because they were all students.
Psychology tests.
Like what though?
I don't know. I'm not a psychologist.
But what would you do?
What would I do? I wouldn't do that.
No, like how would you vet them?
How would I vet?
Oh.
I guess just a very in-depth question. Like, I guess a multiple choice. Like, what would you do in this scenario?
And you think a psycho isn't just going to say they do all the right things? If I was psycho, I would say, I'm an angel.
Would you?
Well, that's what psychos do. That's why they're scary, because no one knows the
psychos.
psychos.
Psycho would know.
I mean, to be fair, the scariest psychos are the ones who admit that they're psycho and they don't think it's a problem. But more common is that they know that they're psycho, but they hide it. You know?
It's a very good question. How would you vet it? There's got to be some kind of test, and like some benchmark testing that they can do to kind of weed out the psychopaths and sociopaths from that experiment.
But also it's a bit alarming that people, how do you explain it, that they allowed this experiment to go on.
They're psychos as well.
Well, yes, but also more alarming and just crazy is that the people in the experiment who were being dehumanized, they continued the experiment.
They were very submissive. Like you've got a group of
and again, is the difference that
hungry.
small? How can it be? How can you go from like walking your everyday life to like allowing that to happen?
I think it depends. For some people, it depends on who you're being told by. If you're being told by an authority to do something, I think a shocking number of people will just lie down.
But that's what this is, because they were being told that they were authorities.
Yeah.
And they would,
So yeah, I think the difference is that small.
But that's shocking.
It is shocking.
But why? Like, what is that? Is that because, are we taught that we must be taught that? Is that not natural, or is that nature and nurture, basically? Because when we're little, are we taught, because obviously cultures and stuff are different, but, respect for authority is different everywhere you go. And the trust of authority, like the older generations, right? Like people in the 70s, like even our parents, like they just trust authorities.
Yeah.
Whereas our generation is like, nope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're kind of like, ooh, I'm not so sure. Like, well, hang on, what does the research say? Or yeah. But that's what I mean. So does it also matter what age group they're in?
Yes. Yeah.
And what culture they come from?
Yeah. What cultures specifically?
I guess I'm thinking of, for example, somewhere like, for example, China, where, for example, the students, I just remember, so basically I knew somebody who used to teach Chinese, like as in Chinese people English, and they used to say that obviously the difficulty was getting them to realize that they could approach them as a professor or approach them, that it was okay to do that. And whereas, like, as a Westerner, that's such a natural concept to just go, yep, I can call you that. Or, for example, calling a professor at university by their first name. That's very, like, whoa, like, hang on, that's a disrespectful. Yeah. Whereas, like, somebody Chinese, for example, might struggle in that scenario just because it's like, it feels wrong to do it. It feels disrespectful because you're the elder. And they've got such a system of like, even if you're like 6 months older than me, I must treat you with more respect because you are 6 months older than me. Whereas we don't. We're like, you can be 60 years older than me, but
respect for elders.
Elaborate.
A way of life. Well, no, it's basically saying like, if you're older, whether you're right or wrong, morally, then you have final say, or you do as you are told because you are younger.
True.
Nonsense.
Whereas we might not live in that same. We don't live in that same environment, so maybe that's why. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, like, So I suppose that's a different question altogether. But like the elders, obviously still valuing elders in the community, but their role in the community has changed so drastically from, your elders would kind of guide you on like life and that kind of thing. Whereas now the gap between your elders and us, like our grandparents versus us, literally being at the same age, it's difficult for them to guide us because it's a completely different world. Like, and obviously their grandparents come from a somewhat different world to them. But I don't think, like our grandparents.
Yeah.
I don't think the gap is as big.
No, I
So I mean, I think it's a lot more narrow of a gap. So they would go to them for like, what should I do at this stage? And then they're kind of, there's some sort of role there. Whereas I think we have lost that. And I actually think that those programs which they do, we're going off track here, but the programs which they do, where they take old people, and they do it a lot in the Nordic countries, they take the old people and they are the ones in the creche. That makes sense to me, because really you're giving old people a role in society.
Old people who are retired.
Yes, like that's to me that's
so
not that old, right? Like you're older, like you can't work and you're pretty old. You know what I mean? But they can still work. It's just that people aren't giving them the opportunities, and they're living so much longer, so they can't work at the same pace as somebody killing themselves at 20. But what I'm saying is that role in society isn't there, so they're just kind of sitting at home, bored out their brains for the next 30 years. So you retire 65, you've got a long way to go. If 35 years is a long time.
A third of your life.
Yeah, it's like
nothing.
Our entire life just sitting at home. Like, we'd be bored. No wonder half of them are depressed.
We wouldn't be sitting at home, but...
No, but at that age, like, you're not as, and the way to keep them mobile and their brain going and all of that is they can look after the children, the creche. That's the best people to do it, because they're going to love, it's like a rejuvenation of them with their kids, with the kids.
And they still feel valued.
Exactly, like they're contributing to society. And, it's giving the kids something different as well. They're going to have a completely different perspective. Because it's like going to creche with your grandpa every day or your grandma.
And how many grandkids would you love that?
Exactly. Like, because you just spoil them, because the difference at that age when you're older, you're not as unnecessarily harsh, and you're not as angry, or like, you don't have as many issues. Do you know what I'm trying to say? When you're old, you're kind of over that. So like, if you think of like a 30-year-old woman or man, running a creche, and they're going to go, oh God, there's so much going.
The stress.
Yes, whereas like somebody old.
A lot more relaxed.
It would be like, I think it would be good all around.
I think something happens when you become a grandparent as well.
Well, they don't even have to be grandparents. So.
No, that's true. No, I feel like I've seen it with my parents. Like, I think when you have your own kids, like, you're a lot stricter, and that's how you do it. But I think when your kids have kids, like, you just go, I've done my bit now. This is your job. I'm going to treat them how I want to, and they can have all the ice cream in the world. I've seen it.
But not everybody. Like, I was going to say, because my parents, I would say that, like, obviously they've also softened, but it's more of a, like, are you saying, like, because obviously they spoiled them, but it's not so much of a, they can treat them how they like, because that's a boundary issue to me. That's a boundary issue. Like, my parents can't just treat our kids how they like.
Don't read too much.
Yeah. I was saying no.
I just mean, like,
You mean
I guess, yes. Yeah, I guess I can probably feel like they can have more fun with it.
Yeah, like, as in enjoy their time.
Yeah.
Enjoy their time. Yeah. Well, because the pressure's not on. Like, obviously, like, you've got to turn this human into a decent human. That isn't a psycho.
But that's the parents' role.
Exactly.
And it's the grandparents' responsibility as well.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like they're looking after them from time to time.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who's looking after the kids, that's there. But that's only for that moment. I think the grandparents' role, personally, is to kind of be a rock. Because I feel like my grandma and my grandpa, that's kind of what they were like, like on the good side. They were like the good side. Like they were really warm, cuddly. You could go there for a hug. You know, like she'd make me cocoa. It's probably why I still have cocoa. You know, just like things like that. Like it is spoiling you in a way, but it's kind of like they just love you. That's their role. They're just there to love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just total support in whatever you're doing. They don't care if you do well or bad. Like they just love you.
Yeah, they're a human
You know?
blanket.
Yeah, yes. Oh, a human blanket. That's why, like, yes.
We're
Aw.
going way off topic.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that the old people, I reckon, if you put a bunch of old people in there,
Yes, that's what you're saying.
but then is
You're
that
saying they're
true?
missing- Yeah.
Because I feel like they've been around the block and they've seen it. And old people don't typically listen, do they?
They'd all be like, oh, I'm not listening to this.
They'll be like, nah, I'm done with this.
Nonsense. Yeah.
But then if someone said, no, you can't leave, would they listen? Or would they actually try to leave? Or would they be too scared to now leave? Because imagine that, right? You go, I'm leaving, and they go, you can't. No, I'm leaving. And they look at you and go, you can't.
It depends.
Would you actually say
It really depends on
the
how
old
they live their
person?
life in general. Yeah, like what kind do they believe everything that kind of if it's that person and there's an authority telling them what to do, then I
Yeah.
think they're very likely to go on with it.
Does it also matter what the authority is dressed like? Because, for example, you can, like, if they're all in doctor's outfits, for example, or if they're in,
Lab coats.
yeah, if they're all in lab coats, or if they're all in, for example, they're all in suits, or they're all in army outfits, or they're all in police outfits. Like, which one would be the, okay, for you, which one are you most likely to listen to out of those?
I think it's an obvious one.
Which one?
Policeman.
Policeman.
A police person.
Police people. That's what they do on a daily. Police people.
Police people.
Sounds like people pleaser. People pleaser. Police
Yeah, right.
people.
Police. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, a police.
Alright.
Policeman or
Really?
woman. Yeah. Yeah, because
Mm.
they are like very close with military as well.
Mm.
Because
Yeah. Honestly, for me, the police officer can put you into jail.
yes,
But
nobody wants that.
you're gonna be in jail. For
I hope
me,
you get to
the
leave
people
the situation.
yeah, what I'm saying
Smart.
well, that's not quite what I was thinking, but it is true. Like I feel like if it was the military people, I'd be more scared of them than I would be of the police. Because I feel like the police are still representatives of the people. So you're still close enough to the people and to the courts and judicial system and everything else to get out of this situation. Whereas if it's a military thing, they tell the police what's down.
That is true.
So I would be far more that they're going to take me somewhere, ship me off,
Yes,
and
they
honestly, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, it's the military take orders from high-ranking government officials.
Exactly,
Right.
which is like way above just
Yeah.
your typical policeman or woman
That's very
or
true.
police people,
Yeah.
whatever you want to
I
say.
didn't think of it.
So for me, it would freak
military,
me out.
Yeah.
Like imagine that, like you go somewhere and everyone is in police uniforms and you are a number. I'd be like, oh man, Jeez, and what are you wearing in this scenario? Are you in potato sacks?
Maybe I've changed my mind. I think probably
Scary.
you haven't said that.
Well, you-
Yeah, I would just,
Like,
I'd be like the 5-year-old kid, just saying why.
yeah, but they say do it and then they trip you up, like a
That's
school
right.
bully. Imagine that. Like they're allowed to physically, by the sounds of it, they're kind of doing whatever they like to you. Like someone goes and does their business on you and trips you up, and there's like
I
a
mean,
whole group of them.
I think a massive fight with them. That's what I'm doing.
It's like Lord of the Flies or something, kicking off. Like, yeah, probably. But what if you were the only one who wanted to fight, and everyone was like, "No, it's an experiment. Just do it, man." Like,
I'll be like, I'm in the wrong place with the wrong people.
and then be like, "But the experiment started. You can't leave for 6 days." Like, imagine this. They rock up to this building, they shut the doors, they lock you in. You know you can't get out because you're in the experiment now. And they ask you at the door, this is the last point of no return. That's more the opera, just literally came from it's the point of no return. And you have to say, yes, I'll do it, or no, I won't do it. And you sign a death waiver, just like we did for like Velocity in Wales.
Yeah.
Right, you sign the death waiver, I'm prepared to die today.
Essentially.
That's
didn't read-
exactly what the
I
police
didn't
said.
read it quite like Yeah.
This is exactly what the film said, obviously. And it was the best time of our life.
Yes.
But it could have been the worst time of our life.
But we wouldn't know about it.
Well, that's true. Well, other people would know, though. But
It'd be the worst time of their lives.
that's
Yeah.
that's a very good point. It wouldn't be the worst time of our life. We wouldn't
No.
have a life.
No.
We wouldn't have the worst time.
Yeah.
We'd just be, well,
We were having an amazing time. And then it just stopped.
Let's go. Beautiful view as well.
Phenomenal.
Just on the end. You did want to go out epic if you had to kill yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He always said he'll go driving for cliff.
In a blaze of glory. Yeah.
Sorry.
Or just
We
in my
shouldn't
sleep.
joke about this stuff. This is like serious stuff. Like if you have any like mental health issues, please go to like a helpline because it is something actually very serious. But we like to make jokes about it. It's not really, it's nothing serious. Please, nobody be doing anything,
Absolutely not.
and Adam will not be doing anything
No,
either.
no. I think everyone's thought about it. Like, oh, the hell
This
I'm
is
gonna
getting
go.
dark. What do you
Do you
mean?
know what I mean?
Oh, like how you
oh, the hell
gonna
I'm
go?
gonna go. Yeah.
I thought you meant
Yeah.
thought about suicide.
Because
like,
no,
Jesus.
no,
I was like, okay, shame, man.
no,
All
no.
right, I was going to
like,
say, we need to talk about this after.
oh, I might need a stronger drink.
No. Yeah.
No.
What about how you
Yeah,
go?
I think
I wouldn't
Again,
mind to go with my foot down the
going
toilet.
completely off topic. I think my only wish is that it's not painful.
Mm.
That's it.
What if you were in the experiment though? And I'm just obsessed with this toilet. I just think it's disgusting. Like the idea of cleaning your foot out, like the toilet with your foot or with your hand or
My
whatever.
foot's- Yeah.
Now, what if a poo particle or something like whacked your back,
Oh,
right? And then it like went in your eye or something,
I get pink
or
eye.
like in your mouth, right?
You could throw it immediately.
Yes, but would you survive for 6 days? What if that's how you go?
Oh,
Yeah, that's true. What if that's how you go?
well, I mean, if that did happen,
Sorry,
I don't
guys.
think you would die that way. I think
What do you
if
mean?
it went in your mouth, you'd throw it immediately.
You could
It
die
would
like
never go past
food
your
poisoning.
esophagus, wherever that is, somewhere here. It would
Yeah,
never
but what
go
if you
past
went? What if like your automatic reaction was to just like shut your mouth and clench because you're like, ugh, and then you swallowed it. Like a whole. What if you swallowed a whole chocolate log? Like it just
Oh,
like.
no, stop. That's enough now. That's enough. This has gone down a few levels.
This is the worst podcast.
No.
No, it's the best
It's not, it's the
podcast.
best.
But genuinely, like, what if that was the way you went?
Well, what can you do about it?
So
I'd be
I just
really
love,
disappointed.
I love that they like wheel you out on that like experiment. How did he go? We're not sure. And they do the autopsy, and they go.
They just find a bit of poos.
They're like, hang on a minute, there's nothing here. And then they go, there's something hard here. And there was just a poo,
there.
perfectly intact, just here.
I didn't say there.
And they just went, and they just, like a hot dog came out.
That is gross. That is absolutely disgusting. What's the matter with you? What's gone into
Friday,
you?
isn't it? Yeah, so, I mean, you were
Yeah.
saying about people wondering how they die, and I'm just saying, like, in that experiment, I feel like you could die. We're not, because in that experiment, you could die. I'm just remembering some of the ways you might die.
No, the question was, is that the difference?
Well,
The question is that the difference?
is that the difference of how you die?
I've forgotten completely that it's the same demographic.
Yes, it is.
Completely.
Yes,
Every single person is
exactly.
exactly
So
the
they're
same.
either really old or they're like really. Yeah, that shit doesn't matter if they're all.
I think it depends on them.
Doesn't matter if they're all men or women. You know,
Well, it would definitely make a difference. Yeah.
what's the difference?
Um,
And is it that small?
I think. I think.
Sorry.
I think.
I don't know what's wrong with me today.
I don't want to trigger anymore. I think with the men, the
Trigger warning on this whole video, actually.
the
Yeah.
power-hungry men will be psychos.
Mm.
But I think equally the weaker men might come together and fight, fight back.
But what if the weaker men become the psychos because they feel weak inside, like on a daily basis? Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like You know, for example, there always used to be that thing of like nice guys finish last or some kind of rubbish like that, which is the biggest lie, isn't it?
I don't really know what it means.
I think it means that if you're a nice guy, then the girls won't want you or something like that. It's basically something I think like that.
Oh, so it's basically saying that nice guys don't.
Yeah, nice guys don't get the women
like
because girls like exactly this whole idea of like girls like bad boys, blah blah blah. Whereas like my theory is look, girls like confident guys. So if some guy, if you're a nice guy because you don't go over and actually talk to women, well, you're gonna finish last. Like nobody's gonna come with you to the school dance.
In that sense, yes.
You know, whereas like if you actually go over and talk to them, unfortunately, it's the people. A lot of those assholes, I guess. Like they go over and talk, and they look all confident for 5 minutes, and the girl goes, "Oh, he likes me." And so if she's got 3 bad options, she's gonna have to pick the best of the bad option. Whereas the nice guy, who's not so much of a nice guy actually, because he's not in the room, he's not there. So what I'm saying is, if
he's
you
at
take
home with a takeaway for one.
exactly, rather than like so he is a weak guy. Now what I'm saying is, if you're taking a weak guy and you're putting him in a position of power against those same guys who he's like, whoa,
he's gonna want to
you see,
get one over on.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because he's got like ideas.
That's a fair point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the difference is that small. I do think it is.
What do you think about everyone's just a psycho? Because that's like, what if these were all average people?
I remember, I'm not going to quote him directly, but I know that Jordan Peterson has said that everyone has got a bit of like, Nazi in them.
What does that mean?
And by that, I think what he was saying was, think about the number of people who joined the Nazi party. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean?
It was millions of people.
Yeah, but when they like conscripted, they didn't have a choice.
Did they not?
Well, if somebody pulls a gun to your head and says, "You going in this thing now."
If that's what happened, then that's what happened. But if that didn't happen, a lot of people did join by choice.
But what do you mean to join the Nazis?
A lot of people are nuts.
See, but are you not talking about the people who vote? Like, who are you talking about? Because that's a big stupid thing to say. You've got to be careful now.
Well, that's what I'm not going to like quote exactly.
No, but I'm trying to understand your interpretation of it, is what I'm saying. Because that's the problem when people like him say big things like that. They need to be sure that they are communicating everything, because that's a very big thing to say. So, like, do you mean, and like, at what point, where are these people doing this? Like, is it to vote him in?
Well, yeah, back in the 1930s.
But a lot of them, he didn't. It's the same as like a lot of politicians. I mean, I would need to brush up my knowledge, but like from what I remember, and obviously watched so many things on this, but like, it's not something nice. You don't try to remember it's not like in front of my mind.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that they didn't know what he wanted to do. He was in a similar way as like we've had many politicians go, we want to make this country great, we want to drive it forward. Well, obviously,
it's on that track.
Yes, but that's the same with like pretty much every president. That's what they want, right? Or at least that's what they're going to say they want. Maybe they want, maybe they don't. Who knows? But that's what the people want. So that's what they say to get into, to get voted in. Now, what I'm saying is he was a phenomenal, and he's still to this day. People know that Jesus, the man, was insane, but Jesus he was no, just that man. That I don't even want to say his name. Dodgy man, dodgy H, we'll call him. Bad H. So naughty man. Naughty man. So that's he, right? So no, but like he was well exactly like, but he was voted in because he was incredible at delivering a speech. He made people believe in the country, in the future, in the prosperity.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So of course, people are going to vote for that guy because, like, Obama is phenomenal at speeches, right? Like, people really listened when he was talking. So like he was in a way like that, but a completely different approach.
It's a really interesting point.
So it's not that they were voting in to kill everybody. Like, no, they were voting in somebody to do the right thing.
I guess you're probably right, but a lot of the military personnel, they do horrific things.
But they are military. Like I've told you before, like
So
people.
these are the people that are going to be in this room. And,
Well, yeah, but they were civilians.
and
Well, it depends.
absolutely horrifying. They're nuts.
Yeah, but then you're taking straight up military men now. So I'm saying everyone in the military, just to be fair.
No,
You know,
no.
I'm saying not everyone in the military is going to be like that. Like that's not realistic, right? But realistically,
Just
you're joining the military. You are, you know, especially soldiers. I guess I'm specifically talking about like some soldiers, maybe like some low-ranking people. I don't know what the ranks are, but we should learn because this keeps coming up. So we need to like learn some military ranks, you know. They're going to join just so that they've got, how to explain it, then they get their roof over their head, they get lots of things, they get to learn some new skills. But the trade-off of that is they are dehumanized in a way, and they've got to be comfortable shooting point blank women, men, children, everybody. You've got to be comfortable blowing up a shop or blowing up whatever, because that's what they've got to do. Like that's, I mean, no one has to do that, to be fair, but that's what they will be ordered to do. And you're a bad soldier, or you're not. If there's 6 of you, let's say you go on a mission, and your authoritative figure, like your group leader, whatever it is, higher rank, has given you orders to go and shoot a couple of people there. Now, you don't want to do it. Well, you're a bad soldier. You're going to get like thrown into, I don't know if they have a jail in the army, but like there's going to be some consequences because you're a liability. You see?
Yes.
So I'm saying that you're breeding psychos in a way, you know, because you're literally training them to dehumanize people so that they can get through the process of you're dehumanizing them so that they understand that you can dehumanize somebody, dehumanizing somebody else so that they can eliminate them or torture them or whatever they need to do.
They were aware,
need
like,
to do. Yeah.
The people who've been dehumanized, they were human.
Yes, but they were human too. But if you dehumanize somebody and their feelings aren't validated and they're no longer, all that stuff is making you weak. Like your feelings and all, it's like the man box, same thing, right? It makes people feel weak if they cry or weak if they all of this, but that's strong. It's not weak. But if you teach somebody that it's weak, they believe that. So if they see somebody else crying, man up, blah, 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 they literally do the same thing. So what I'm saying is you take someone into the army who's now got to kill other, but you're going to train them to kill people. You've got to teach them that they are not a human and you are a number and you need to be willing to die for your country. You see what I'm saying? But if that means you need to kill all these people, the enemy,
so
you've got to kill them. Do you see what I'm saying? The only way you're going to get a sane person to kill somebody is to dehumanize them and dehumanize the person to the point that that person believes that, you know, they'll be rewarded. And they are. That you kill this many people, we give you badges. You kill this many people, your group loves you. Your platoon.
This is quite literally base.
I've not thought about that.
Is that the basis of a military operation? Is that, I don't know. If that's
but
what
I
they
mean,
do.
the problem is we need somebody from the military to really help us out here. Like I actually met a guy who used to be in the Navy, so I might ask him to come on. But like, hey, from the it's called Callum stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's like a cool dude. Yes,
yes.
But basically the what you're saying there is interesting. I'm not sure if that would be the case though, because in the experiment, you've got the authority and then everybody else, and they just being degraded. And it just progressively gets worse. It's the us and them scenario, isn't it? It is the power of us versus them. It's the same thing that fuels racism, you know, hatred to like queer, LGBTQ+, hatred to women.
It's,
you know?
Yeah.
It's the us versus them.
I think if you know they're the same demographic as you, like exactly the same. I don't think you participate. I think you're less likely to participate.
But they all participated in the experiment. They all got involved.
So they knew what the experiment was and they still got involved.
What do you mean? No. They went in and they were told.
Right,
and then they actually got involved. And that's the part that for me is baffling, because if somebody said to me, hey, go and poo on someone's head, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why I keep going to poo. I think the toilet freaks me out. And now I'm like, I can't think of what else could be worse. For
Really,
me,
you can't think of someone being
pooed on.
stabbed.
Oh, jeez. No, but then that's like murder.
worse.
That's a different thing, right?
Oh, you mean this in terms of like degrading?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what it
okay.
sounded like, that
Okay,
they were
yeah.
being degraded.
Yeah, like defecating.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So just
on
exactly,
someone else,
and just
right.
like really, like it's just pure humiliation,
Shaming,
shaming, humiliation.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't understand that trait. Like
No,
I don't
It's a
get it.
power.
It is like it's a weakness actually. It's a display of
Yes.
weakness.
I
Because you've got to make someone feel small so you feel
so you
bigger.
feel better, yeah.
That's like an ultimate display of weakness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So yes, I don't know. Is it fair to? I mean, it's the military is a difficult one because it's.
They must
I
do
feel
that.
like it's a necessary evil,
Mm.
but I do see it in some way, as harsh as that is, as like a type of evil activity, because its literally function is there for war.
Mm.
Which is the
Yeah.
saddest function
Yeah,
that there
it is,
is. You know, a war is the saddest thing possible. And obviously, you know, it's defense as well. But the fact that we need a defense is
It's funny, isn't it?
sad. It's necessary.
Everyone's got an army, but no one wants to use it.
So well, some people want to use it.
Do they though?
I think they do. They just want more. But
Well,
it's the us and them.
the Kim Jong-uns of the world. Yeah, there's a few.
Well, I would say any country, that's the main purpose of the state, is to look after your people.
I feel like Bono is not in time. Well, why can't we just all get along?
Because
you know what I
there's
mean?
not enough, we have not distributed the resources equally. And we want
Is that life?
Yes, no, that's what I mean. That's how people are.
Yeah.
Like you could give somebody, it's the same thing going back to, you could give somebody 10 quid and somebody 10 quid and they'll go away, and the next day that next person will have 20 quid and they'll have nothing. Because they were stupid with their money, so that one's got 20 now. Where do you get 10 from? Well, the one who now doesn't have anything. And that's literally just how life works. And then what will happen is somebody, third party, will come in and say, it's your job to look after them. Why?
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you see what I mean? And now it's like, don't be greedy. We need to teach sharing. Do you see what I mean? But if you think about it, like, you know, you can fit all the world's wealth on a bus.
Oh, you mean in terms of people?
Yeah.
I
All money.
think they're filling the bus with cash. Stacking
What
50s.
currency? Yeah, exactly. Now let's start arguing over which currency folds better.
We all know which one it is.
Which one folds better?
No, which currency the world would lose.
Oh,
If the world was one currency, what would it
should be gold.
be? Well, that's why the Americans have trillions of dollars worth of gold stashed at Fort Knox.
True. They should just build a house out of it. They probably have. Do you know what I mean? Like
No,
build
they
a.
haven't.
Why not?
It's behind like a 20-inch thick
Hey,
glass wall.
doesn't mean they can't make it pretty. Like
Oh,
they
yeah,
can build
it's
that.
not
They're gonna
pretty.
build like a White House. If I was them, I would build a White House version of it in gold behind the glass door.
Let's face it, a few gold bricks stacked looks nice.
Well, yeah, but like if I worked for their marketing, I would just say, listen, guys, like let's.
They market
They
it's a
do,
reserve.
it's
It's a reserve. You can, I think is it
Yeah, but show the other countries how it's done.
it's a
You know?
reserve in case the dollar crashes. Is that right?
Oh, wow.
I think
I don't know. I can't
you
remember.
might be right, I'm not sure.
But that's cool.
Yeah.
But I would still like it. What about a boat or something cool? They could like mold it into.
They'd
Or an
still-
eagle.
they'd
That's
still-
American.
They would
isn't
still
it?
have so much gold in it. They've got trillions of dollars.
Make more eagles.
It's
Do the Americans like
such
get
a
on?
waste of
Yeah.
resources.
No, it's not. It's
It
a one
is.
of, no, it's a real like this is us, you know. If everything collapses, they still got the eagle. They got the 50 stars. They got the big flag.
But the problem is, no one is going to see it.
Doesn't matter. They'll know it's there.
It's the weirdest flex.
Yeah, but it's the ultimate flex.
It is
The
the-
ultimate flex is when you open your drawers at home, right, and everything is clean inside. This
But-
is the same thing. It's like opening the reserve. And it's like,
But if no one else is seeing it, it's not really a flex. That's my point of
Oh, it
flex,
is.
is to show people.
well, how do you know it's in gold bars then?
Because I know it's a great art.
How do you know?
Because I believe everything I see on TV.
Mm. It could just be like round footballs or like medals for each thing they've won historically. You don't know. So it could be one of those. But yeah, basically, I feel like the Americans and every country, not just Americans, British, every single country looks out for themselves. So,
Well, yeah.
so obviously, if you're looking out for yourself, because your people want you to look out for them, which automatically means they're not saying look after them, look after us, which is us and them. So it's the same story, but on a bigger scale. And if you don't have a military, this is the right say, it's a necessary evil. If you don't have one, how are you supposed to get resources from next door if they don't want to give it to you? You got that kid with the 20 pounds, so you got the other kid with the 10 with the nothing. How are you supposed to get him to share before your people starve? You've got to go in.
You've got to have a really good negotiator.
What if it's not working? What if they shoot the messenger every time? Now you're like, hey, how many more people? We're going to have no people left. You can't keep shooting us.
That doesn't sound.
No.
You shouldn't be shooting people just for asking for a bag of sugar.
Well, he's a selfish
Imagine if you went
guy.
around the neighbour's house and said, can I have some sugar in this?
That mean you'd have to send
And then
more.
you send someone else around and it's
And
like,
then
what's
who's
the
left?
sugar?
Bradley
I'm just negotiating the sugar.
Bradley would have to come in and put a note under the door. Like, if you don't give back the sugar, I will shoot you with my toy.
Sign the portrait.
Yeah, sealed, exactly. And that's declaring war, isn't it?
Are there any countries that don't have a military?
Yes, there are. There actually are. No, because they technically, I think they have the UN. They have a portion, like each country of the UN has a portion of soldiers that is kind of like from any country. It's like
UN
dedicated UN soldiers. Yeah. So I think that's what Switzerland do. But it's actually countries that are so small that their representation, they've got like, it's like, I want to say it's like really almost like Caribbean type countries. I can't remember the names. Like so small island.
Times South Pacific.
Yeah, it's like a tiny little one where
Kiribati,
they don't have any power.
Vanuatu, Tuvalu, those kind of places.
So, yes, I don't really know.
I'm sure that
part
parts of the British Empire. So, wouldn't armed soldiers?
No, some of these I can't. I wish I could remember the names, but there is definitely some independent. I watched another documentary on it, but there's some independent ones where, and also it was on my course, and they fund their own seat and their own office and everything, and therefore the cost for them to be in the UN is so much more expensive, and even to just attend a meeting, therefore it's harder for them to have any power because they literally can't afford to get there, and then exist there. But for example, them, they don't really have an army. Like there's nothing like nobody really has a reason to. Well, that's the thing. They can be manipulated so easily because it's essentially a case of, well, we're going to have all your land, or, we'll let you stay on it, but we're going to fish your waters. And what can they do? Do you see what I mean? It makes it really unfair. And there's a lot of countries, I think that's how it started.
It's bullying.
Of course,
it's
yes.
Just plain bullying.
Which is that not what this experiment is? Bullying. Because it's the one kid going, oh, like, you're not cool and tripping you up in the hallway. What for?
It is.
You weirdo, you psycho.
Yeah, I think the difference is that's not.
It's really sad. It's a sad episode.
It is a sad episode. It's a very interesting episode.
Yeah.
The beauty of the difference is that's not.
I want to say it isn't, but honestly, like, don't even take this the wrong way. I feel like, to a certain extent, and I'm not like saying to Hannah, because obviously I think I could do a lot of things that were bad, but no, but like I think from a situation of being coerced into that kind of scenario, I honestly believe, and I wonder if this is a factor to it as well, I believe you are more likely, despite everything, you are more likely to be in the degrade them camp, and I'm more likely to be in the being degraded camp. Do you know what I mean? Like, this sounds really scary, and I don't even like it myself. But if I'm honest, no, because let me explain it. Like last week, let him die, right? So what I'm saying is, you naturally, your survival instinct. What I'm trying to say is, your survival instinct in the moment would be like, nah, they're gonna pull the boat down, and the fear of something that hasn't happened yet would override anything logical. So you'd know it was wrong, but the fear of what if this is what's happening to these people, the fear of what's happening to me might be even worse. And I think that fear would allow you to do what you weren't happy that you've done. Whereas what I'm saying is, because I would go back knowing that I could die, is what I'm trying to say. Because of that trait, which can also be a problem, okay? Like, not self-sabotage, but in a way, I think because I couldn't cope with treating somebody else like that, I would rather have them treat me like that than treat someone else. Does that make sense?
Well, that's what I was just going to say. That's what I was just going to say. If someone was telling me I'm powerful and you need to do horrific things to these people.
But did they tell me even what to do? It got out of control that they had to step in, so people were just escalating it.
I would not be that person. I would not be that person.
But if you were in a group,
this is going to sound gross, but I'd rather be crap Tom than crap Tom.
That's brilliant.
We're going to retitle this video.
Wow. Rather be crap Tom than crap on.
I would, because
okay.
as disgusting as it is, like, I could not live with myself treating someone like that.
But then you were going to live with yourself leaving the people in the boat. Like leaving the people in the water to die. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you'd be proud of what you've done.
There's no death involved here.
So what you're saying is it's only when you feel like you're going to die.
Possibly.
But would you not?
I'm finding out things about myself.
Me as well. About me and you.
If my life is in danger. If it's not in danger, then.
What's the sound for that one?
Do what you want. Like,
okay.
You can try and humiliate me if you want to, but shame on you. I'm going to take the moral high ground.
But what if there's a whole group of people? That's what they do.
Go ahead. I'm not getting involved.
But if you don't get involved, what will happen to you? Are they not going to do it to you now?
Maybe.
I see. Okay. All right. I just thought. So the exception then for you. I'm learning things as well. So the exception for you is if there's death involved. Like if they're killing all these people. But no, I've just realised something. Okay, now you know where I'm going. You know.
I'm not sure where you're going. So, it doesn't sound good.
So it's not going to be good. So I've just thought about this, right? If you, right, you've just said the exception for you, right, where the fear overrides, is with the fear of death.
Oh yeah.
Now, your earlier comments in the beginning, you said, isn't it like the Nazis, right? Which is a very unfortunate thing that you even have to discuss it because it happened. So now that situation involved, you said, now how could those people do that to other people? Right. There was the fear of death on them if they helped the Jews. There was a fear of death on them if they didn't kill the Jews. Now you tell me, you see, this is what I mean. Like now in this scenario,
you're dying.
But you're not. If you like, this is okay scenario.
I'd rather die.
But that's what I'm saying. But would you? Because in the boat you're prepared to let them die, and you know that your decision is causing them to die. But as long as it's not me. Now in this scenario, your decision. No, but it's a valid point, right? The fear of death is there. Now, they come to talk to you and ask you for bread, ask you to keep them. This is a scenario. They ask you to keep them at home.
Who's dead?
Jews.
Okay.
At the time of this horrible event. Anne Frank or whatever comes to you, she needs you to keep them in your house.
Right.
Now, the fear of death, we go back, everybody will die if you come in the house.
I feel like
I think that's how that became possible.
they're very different situations. I analyse each situation.
But are they different?
Yes, they are.
How
I
are they
think
different?
because so what you're saying is, I own a house. Anne Frank comes to the door. She says, "I need somewhere to stay. Can you keep me secret?" I'll put you up in the attic. But I know that if some soldiers come to the door and find that I'm gone, do I have a weapon?
What do you mean?
Do I have a gun?
It wouldn't matter. Literally, because they've got tanks, they'll just blow up the house. Yeah, but that's but explain to me the difference between the boat scenario and that. Unless it wasn't meant to be a roast Adam, I'm really sorry. I'm no, but it's good because we've got very different views on it. So what I'm trying to say is, obviously, I think that is, and I'm not obviously I know
Because-
it's not very nice.
Because in one of those situations, death is certain.
Which one?
The boat situation.
No, death
It
is.
is.
What do you mean? How is it certain?
We're going back to the old episode.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But it wasn't certain, was it? It was a fear of it becoming a reality.
I think it was certain.
Why?
Because if you very quickly, for my episode, if you go back,
Go watch it.
if you're on the boat and you go back to a group of 30 people swim in the water, they're going to all climb to the boat and it's going to sink. It's going to sink. There is
However,
a scientific weight limit on that boat. There's a scientific weight limit on that boat. If 30 people get on that boat, you are all dying. You are, because it can't hold the weight.
I don't disagree.
So it's going down.
I don't
Whereas in
disagree.
this case, if Anne Frank's in the loft,
I should be very old by now. Shit.
if she's in the loft, it's not a certainty that she's going to be found. It's not.
Hey, it's not a certainty that they'll clamber into the boat.
Why wouldn't they?
Why would they?
It's safety.
No, it's not safe because the boat will capsize and nobody's getting out of it. They're not
So why
stupid.
go back in? If not everyone's going to get a boat to the point.
Because some people will get back. Some people will manage to get into the boat. And you'll have to pull them up because they'll be that cold that most of them will be dead by the time you go back. Just like in Titanic when
Yeah.
they go back.
Very often, we're talking about the
No,
film
but I'm saying it's the same thing. It's the fear of being caught and dying. It's the fear of being.
That's what I mean. It's
In a situation of
different.
dying.
It's a very different situation to me.
I think that's where we disagree. So you think that it's case by case,
Yes.
whereas I think that the innate human response to preserve yourself and look at, you know what I mean, like preserve yourself with the fear of something. I think that that's the situation. The fear of something happening to you, and the self-preservation, survival mechanism that people have. I think that's the thing that means things like the Holocaust, and there's not the only Holocaust, right? It's happened many times around the world. What?
Holocaust.
That's
The Holocaust.
well, yes. So that happening around the world again and again and again, I think that that's because of that. People are afraid that they might die if they help, if they get involved, if they stand up, and if they die, how's it going to get better? How's it going to come out? It's the self-preservation. It's almost like if you were in a house, in a cabin in the woods, and there was a serial killer in there, and there was a group of 6 of you, and he's killed 4 of your friends. There's 1 left, and you're going, okay, if I say anything, and he's about to kill my friend, if I say anything, I can't get out of here. But if he kills your friend, you can get out of there, and that means you can tell people that the serial killer is around. But if you say something, and the fear is that he's going to kill both of you, and you're never going to get caught. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that is what drives people. Like it's the kind of survival, but self-preservation. Yeah, and the fear of not being able to preserve yourself. And that's
deep
what.
one.
That's deep. Yeah, we got deep. So yeah, I keep looking there. It's like we got the monitor that side, so it looks like that's where it is. I feel like my accent's strong today.
I don't think
Do
so.
you?
No.
I feel okay. It feels stronger to me. So.
Have you met any South Africans today?
No,
No.
I haven't.
You tired?
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes. So yeah, okay. So conclusion, I think we both. It's sad though, isn't it? But the line is that fine. But basically, people are psychos. And in the wrong environment, man, people are like, there's something wrong with it.
I think you know if you're that person. And I think if you know people well enough, like you know what they would be like in that situation.
Oh, I don't know.
You don't think?
No.
Oh, that's
No.
good,
Because, like, I love my mom, right? Sorry, mom. But, like, honestly.
Kareem, don't watch this episode. Turn it off now.
No, like I love my mom, for example, but like in a scenario, like obviously I like to think she'd behave a certain way. And this is my mom, right? I've known her my whole life.
Mhm.
But then there's certain times I'm like, did not expect that, you know? No, but not even in a bad way, like sometimes in a good way. Sometimes I what the hell? You know? But like this is somebody you really know.
Mm.
And do you ever really know anyone? That's the question. Do you ever?
Yes.
What about that guy? Like I told you, that guy. This is the thing that scared me the most. We watched way too many of those like serial killer documentary things. And this guy, I was watching it with my granny in South Africa. It was disturbing. He'd been married to his wife for 17 years. Mm-hmm. Happily married. No, they barely even fought. Actually, they had no problems, which was I don't know how they did that, but I mean, yeah, I don't know how they did that. So well done to them. Except it's not. Maybe it's that's not a good thing. So what happened, right?
Don't argue. It's a bad.
Yeah, it means you're not fighting for your rights. You know what I'm saying? You got to fight for your future. So it's true. Like it's work, right?
Mm.
So this guy and his wife were married for 17 years, and one day he woke up and called the police, and he said, "Hey, I need you to bring an ambulance and the police and everything to my house. I've killed my wife. I did it. I think she's been downstairs in the freezer for the last 2 days. But when you get there, I'm not going to leave here. Okay."
I've told you this before. I'm still
And
shocked.
he was so calm. Literally, they played the audio. He was so calm
That's
that they right, and he literally said, "I don't know why I did it because I love my wife." And the woman on the phone was like, "Did you have an argument? You know, like how did you do it?" And he just said, "We didn't argue about anything, but I just woke up and I thought I need to kill her." So he shot her in the head twice. Now what's crazy is, right, he buggered off. And actually, this is mad. They went to the freezer. This is 2 days after he shot her in the head twice. She was alive. She was alive. Because the idiot, thank God, I mean, he put her in the freezer, which deserved her.
Yeah.
But it's one of those big, like, American fridge freezers, and South Africans have it. Yeah, huge chest freezer.
Like the one in
to fit a body. I don't know. Yes.
The snowman gets it to keep himself.
Ah, yes, yes.
Like that, yeah.
So it's like a big chest freezer, and it's not so man. That's much nicer than this. And it opened up, and then he put it in there. But of course, when he wasn't thinking, right? So when he shut it like on the side of her head, like this. So there was still oxygen coming in, because otherwise she would have died. Just like can't breathe.
Oxygen.
Yeah, can't breathe. So despite being shot twice in the head, the crazy thing is she survived, but obviously she's disabled for the rest of her life. She actually has her brain works, everything works, but she can't talk, she can't feed herself, she's just like her whole spine and everything, none of it really works. So she's disabled and a vegetable, really. Yeah. And I just thought, do you ever know somebody? Is that not the scariest thing? They're happily married for 17 years.
I'm not going to sleep for the next 15 and a half years.
Oh no. What if I'm like a year 21? No. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. You'll know if I get a big fridge freezer. You're like, no.
You know not to make that mistake.
What do you mean?
You've learned from watching that show not to put them in the freezer.
Oh yes, you'll be too cold anyway. You won't make it.
Oh, freeze. Just come outside.
Oh, in the snow.
This has gone dark again. Really dark.
Yeah.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Awesome. So I think we should conclude.
We should conclude. We should conclude in this episode.
Yes, we should conclude. And Yeah, subscribe, please, because we managed to get another subscriber this week. Can I just say,
Didn't we?
round of applause, please. Look, we're clapping whoever it was. Well done. Thank you.
I'm high-fiving
I salute you.
us.
Oh, and us as well.
We're doing a really good job. I
That was
love it.
terrible. Yes, there we go. So yeah, we like that, and have a great weekend, everyone. We will see you next week for
Yes.
another. Hopefully, I mean, I feel like this book is going to be dark because so
Yeah.
far, like
I mean, there are ethical dilemmas.
that's true. So yeah,
There's-
sure.
They're going to be dark. Maybe we
Yeah.
should do a happy one next.
How am I going to know if it's happy? We're just going through the book.
Let's
Oh.
hope. Let's hope it's a happy one next.
Bradley's made an appearance again. You come to say hi to your fan base.
He's been sleeping all
Oh,
this time.
baby. Look at him.
Look
Oh, look. So Bradley's tired. So right, I guess we should say bye-byes. And yeah, signing off. Do you want to press the big
I'd love
the big
to press
end?
the big end.
The big end. The
Press
big end.
the big end.
Bye.
See you later.
Mwah. And then, mwah.